Hey friends, 3 years ago I started noticing that in our data engineering projects we are getting more and more AI requirements that want us to connect AI to the data. And that's of course because most of the companies now want to use AI applications, and there are many use cases for that, in order to talk to the business data. There is no better platform than the data that is prepared from the data engineers. And by the way, this is not only me, as well most of my colleagues that are doing data engineering projects in different companies, they are as well now involved in many AI engineering topics in their data projects.
It appears that the website has become alive. This happens to computers and robots sometimes. Am I scared of a stupid computer? Please, the computer should be scared of me.
So that means now the AI is becoming like the core requirement in many data teams, and guess what? As we were searching for AI engineers here in Germany, it was empty.
It's empty.
Here you can find both software and data engineers, but AI engineers, it's almost nobody. So if you are one of those two, adding AI engineering right now, it is one of the best decide and moves that you can do for your career. So now, of course, the big question is how to learn AI engineering. Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is not that easy because most of the courses out there, they are getting outdated very fast because everything is changing as well very fast. And we still don't have in the market those experts that have enough time now to go and make courses about it. So it is brand new role and keep changing very fast.
So fast.
Now that's why I went and started searching for courses myself, because I wanted that for my project, and I found something really nice in DataCamp, and that was way before they sponsored me. And now they came to me and asked me to review one of their courses, and that was a perfect match because I already know their AI course before that. And I asked, is it okay to criticize and to give a real opinion about their courses? They were totally cool for that, so they say yes, you can do it. So that means even if the video is sponsored, I can give you now a real opinion from me without any issue. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna go through their AI engineering track. I'm gonna give you my opinion, my advices, where to deep dive, where to speed up a little bit, and give you my final recommendation. So now let's go.
All right. Let's get started.
Okay, so now once you go inside to the learn and then to the tracks, you're gonna find here a filter called AI engineer. And basically they have two tracks, AI engineer for data scientists and for developers. So now the data scientist one, it's gonna be the one that's gonna deep dive into the model side, the machine learning, deep learning, training the models. So if you are becoming a data scientist, this one is for you. The developer one, it is about the one that's gonna use the models. So you take the model that the scientist did train and prepare for you, and you start building applications on top of it. And this is exactly the real job in most of companies. You are not going to train models, you are going to use them. That's why we're gonna deep dive into the developer track. It is more relevant for the job market. Of course, still you will find projects at companies where they are training their own models for specific use cases, but I'm gonna say the majority of use cases now are using the already existing models. So now let's go to the developer track. Now in DataCamp track, it is like a collection, a bundle of multiple courses that are related to the role of AI engineer. So that's why you're gonna find over here a lot of courses, and from time to time you're gonna see here a project. So now let's have a look to the first course, working with the OpenAI. Let's go inside it. So it is your first introduction about how to use Python code in order to interact with the OpenAI API, like for example over here. So it's all about to learn how to connect to the model, how to write a request, how to get a response. So those are the basics, the easy stuff. And then the next chapter in the course, you will start learning about prompting the OpenAI model and how to build a chatbot using OpenAI. So this is going to be your very first mini projects that you're going to do in AI engineering. So I'm going to say this is a good start, and my advice, don't camp here, don't spend a lot of time digging and learning all those techniques. Just go through it and go to the next one. So this is the first course. It is around 3 hours. Now let's go to the next course. It's going to be the prompt engineering with the OpenAI API. Let's go and check inside. So here we start with the very basic things like how to write prompts, how to write expectations, instructions. So very simple things about prompt engineering. So yeah, you're gonna practice writing instructions here, the output format, the prompt. So very basic things. But now once I saw it for first time, I really got surprised about how things go in advanced in the next chapters. Because after that, it goes a real deep dive into prompt engineering, about the zero shot, one shot, multiple shots, the reasoning and chain of thoughts of prompts. So you really deep dive into the world of prompting. And I really like it that they went so deep into this topic, because I've seen a lot of courses that they just stop with the basics in prompt engineering. And this is one of the biggest mistakes because people think, okay, I know how to prompt with ChatGPT, why you have to now to go and learn it again? And most people like go through this very fast to the nice things like building the RAG and using models. My rule in projects is very simple. If you have garbage prompts, it's gonna give you garbage results. That's why my recommendation for you, if you are learning AI engineering, don't skip this chapter, don't rush it. Take time, go through it step by step, deep dive until you understand it completely. Now, after that, you're going to learn about the prompt engineering for business applications. So it's nice to learn about how to summarize the text, how to transform it, how to generate a code. And at the end, you're going to build again a chatbot, but this time it's going to be more advanced than the first chapter, where you're going to control exactly the behavior of the chatbot after you have learned how to do prompt engineering. So a very important chapter, and I like how things are detailed over here. Now let's go back. So those are the two courses. After that, you're going to do a project. So this is the pattern in DataCamp. You have like courses and then in between projects that are planned. And after that, we have the course of the Hugging Face. So let's see what do we have over here. So now, if you don't know already, the Hugging Face, it is the biggest community hub for the free pre-trained models that are prepared from the others. So from the community, not from the big giant tech companies. If you go there, you're gonna find for everything thousands of pre-trained models that you could use in your projects, and most of them are free. So if you have like specific use case before you start like training your model, just go to the Hugging Face and find if someone from the community already did that. So now in this course, you're gonna learn how to interact with the Hugging Face, how to get models and build the use cases. You have here a lot of use cases, like building pipelines for the classifications, for summarizations, tokenizations, and even how to pull text from the PDFs. Now, my advice for you for this course is that don't go and deep dive into each step one by one. Don't try to understand everything. It's all about how to get the right model from the Hugging Face and how to use it inside your Python code. Once you feel that, then you can go to the next course. Now, the next one gonna be a serious one. It's about the LLMOps concepts. So let's go inside. Now, of course, the question is, what is LLMOps? Well, the idea is very simple. So far, you have learned how to do things locally at your laptop. So you have built an AI application, but once everything is done, you don't leave it at your laptop. You have to move it to real productions so that everyone else could use it. Now, exactly, you have to learn this process, how to deploy it, how to scale it, how to watch the cost, the runs, how to keep it secure, all those stuff. We call it LLMOps. And if you know what DevOps means, this is the ops for the AI applications. Now, of course, this course is going to be like heavy with the terminology, with the process, explaining each step. So it's going to walk you through the whole life cycle of the LLMOps from the start until the end. Now, of course, my advice for you here is to take time to read all those terminologies because you're gonna hear it all the time through the projects. And now we come to my thoughts, my opinion about this course is that, well, teaching LLMOps and DevOps, it is something tricky for any course. In order to really learn it, you have to do it in real productive environments. You have to experience, to live the process end to end in order to understand how things works. So yes, in the theory part, they are really good. So you can learn the CI/CD, the scaling, the monitoring, the whole process, but you are not learning how to do things directly in real production. There is no Docker, there is no terminal work. So yes, it shows you the process, it shows you how deployment works, but it does not make you deploy. That's why I think they have to push on this, and this is something really tricky for any course.
Wow, that is really hard.
Okay, so now let's keep moving to the next one. It is about developing AI systems with the OpenAI API. So you have to build an AI system, and I'm gonna say here they have to go and switch those two courses. So first you learn the system and then you learn about the LLMOps. So it's not that big deal. I'm gonna say if you are taking this track, first start with the AI system and then go to the LLMOps. So now what do you have inside over here? Let's go and view the course. So here it's not anymore about making one call to the OpenAI API. You are building here a real system. So you are building something to end, and here comes many add-ons and things that you have to do in your code, like handling the errors that you might get from the model, how to deal with the rate limitations, patching messages and setting tokens. So it's all about thinking about all the scenarios that you might face in the productions and how to set up and prepare those scenarios. So those are the basics, and then we go deep dive into more advanced things like function calling, how to get the model calling your code, and at the end you're gonna get like best practices for the productions, the moderation, the validations. Now, my advice for you is this: don't go through this very fast. Take it slow, step by step through all those topics because they are relevant for real projects. And I can see from here, this might be questions through the interviews because it's really important to learn how to build a system for companies, not only like one Python code that's do some calling. So this course, it's all about how to make your code ready for productions. And after that, you get this project in between courses in order to not only like do theory to practice. And then comes one of the most interesting topics in AI engineering, learning about the embeddings. So what is this? Let's go inside. So now, as usual, I'm going to give you like a little introduction about what is embedding, but I'll not go in details because you have this course for it. It's all about like turning a text into numbers that can carry a meaning. And this is amazing because it's gonna let you to search by meaning instead of exact words, like maybe you have learned in databases and SQL. So for example, if you are searching for the word car, it's gonna still find you automobile. So you are searching by semantic. But again, we'll not go in details because this is in this course. You're gonna learn about what is embedding, how to create them, and some theory about the terms that you need in order to build an AI application. And there are many like amazing use cases for this, like for example, building a recommendation engine using the embeddings. And of course, you have to learn how to store those embeddings. It's called the vector databases. So it is like similar to classical databases. We have to store the data somewhere and query the data, but this time we will not use SQL. We can of course use Python in order to do this. So you can learn the basic operations like how to add data, how to query, how to do update, delete. So always think about it. I'm learning SQL again and databases, but this time for embedding and vector databases. And now here we come to something really important that I need you to understand, that this is the most important course from the whole track. If you want to learn only one thing from the whole track, it's going to be this course. Everything that you're going to hear about semantic search, recommendations, like the LangChain, everything that comes after, all those stuff going to sit on this course. You have to learn about the embeddings, you have to learn about the vector databases and how to query it. You have to really focus here. Don't go very fast and start like clicking next. Take your time, understand everything here because this is the core. If you want to become an AI engineer, if you want this skill to be in your career, you have to understand this and you have to learn how to do it. So embedding vector databases, the most important thing. And here by looking to all those chapters inside this course, I'm gonna say they have covered everything that is needed about this topic. Okay, so this is what the course is about, but we are not done yet. There will be a project about the embedding and another course about the embedding and the vector databases, but this time with the Pinocchio. Well, it is similar to the previous course, but this time you're gonna learn how to do it with a team in the production. So the previous one, it is about how to do it locally at your PC, but this time you're gonna learn how to do it in production. So that means if you've done a real deep dive into the previous course, this one gonna be very fast. If you feel things are here new for you, then I'm gonna say you went very fast in the previous course. Now let's move to the next one. We have the software engineering principles in Python. Now, as I saw this for the first time, I was really happy that they made this move to add this course for this track, because you might ask why I should learn about software engineering if I'm learning and preparing myself for AI engineering. Now think about it like this. Everything that you have built so far, you are actually scripting, you have code. And in real companies, your AI applications, it is not a script, it is a code that other engineers going to read, extend and maintain for years. And this is exactly what it makes you engineer. We are saying AI engineer. It is not just someone that is really good at playing with the AI. You are becoming an AI engineer and you have to learn those skills. So in this course, of course, everything is focusing on Python techniques, about the packaging, about the modules, and then after that comes the classes, and at the end the maintainability, about the documentations, the unit tests. It is all the techniques that you need as you work with Python in order to make you a real engineer. So actually not only software engineer, as well data engineers, and here for AI engineers. So all the techniques that's gonna level you up from someone can write scripts in Python, can work with AI to become a real engineer. So this is actually not only for software, it is as well for data and AI engineers. And now the last course in AI engineering, the last one in this track, gonna be developing LLM applications with the LangChain. This is where everything gonna comes together. You're gonna chain your steps, you're gonna give agents their own tools, and then you're gonna go and build the retrieval augmented generation, the RAG, where you're gonna feed your model with your own data, your own vector database. So this is the last track. Those are all the courses that we have in order to prepare you to become an AI engineer for developers. Alright friends, so now let's recap. I'm gonna give you my honest opinion about the whole thing, and we're gonna start with the coverage. I'm gonna say that was really good. So it covers almost everything that you need from the start until the end, and it's gonna make you understand what is AI engineering and how things works. So that was a plus. Now about the structure, I'm gonna say as well it is a plus because it makes sense from the start until the end, and as well the order was right. Beside the LLMOps, go and switch it. And now another thing that I loved about this course, they made really important two decisions, that to fully focus on the embeddings and the vector databases. So they are like two courses, one project. It is the core of AI engineering, and they went deep into this topic and they made it the center of the track, and I find that this is correct. Now another decision that I really loved is that they made software engineering inside this track, and this is 100% correct. This is something I'm gonna say other AI courses totally skip or not mention in the tracks because they only focus on AI and that's it, and I find it not really good because we are building here an AI engineer, not someone can play with the AI. And another plus, of course, about the whole platform, that you can do everything directly in your browser. You don't have to install hundreds of things locally at your PC. You just open your browser and start learning, practicing and working. Alright, so those were the positive things that I have noted over here. Now let's talk about the weaknesses, the other side. Now I'm gonna say, first of all, if you go through this track alone, you're gonna feel that you are overwhelmed very fast. There are a lot of topics that are listed, a lot of courses, and you will not understand, okay, where should I focus? Like for example, this video I gave you quickly where to slow down, where to go fast. I think they have to add this into this course, and they have to highlight, like for example, the embedding the vector databases. Here you have to deep dive, and maybe for the Hugging Face and some other topics, they can say like speed up here or fly through. So I think they still have to give some guidance through the course. Now, another thing that I'm gonna say, this is not one course from one instructor. This is like collection of courses from different teachers. So the style, the soul gonna keep changing on you from one course to another. Me personally, I prefer to have like one instructor that's gonna take me through the whole process end to end. At the end, in reality, there is no such a perfect course. Now, if you ask me, is it a good start? I'm gonna say for sure. If I have to start over again, I'm gonna take this track. And I can guess that might take you like 1 month in order to complete. But now it comes something really important, at that don't expect that a course or a track is gonna make you an AI engineer. After you are done, you have to keep practicing. You have to keep doing projects left and right, because by only getting your hand dirty, by only struggling, the real learning gonna happen. So once you are done, keep practicing, keep pushing in order to get ready for any questions that you're gonna get in the interview, because the market does not need someone that can play with the AI. They need a real engineer in their projects. And I can tell you, a few years ago in Mercedes-Benz, as I was doing the projects, I was thinking, okay, what is the next step in my career as a data engineer? And to be honest, one big title was always an AI engineer. I'm not saying like switching the career, it is like combination between AI and data in order to be ready for the future. But now of course things change, and now I'm doing content creation. Now I'm gonna say that's it. This is my whole review about this track. So if you enjoyed this type of content where I'm giving my personal opinion about things like courses, platforms, tools, if you have like another ideas, drop it in the comments. And if you like to support my work, then subscribe, like and comment to reach nice people like you. If you're still here, thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Oh, I'll see you later.
Okay.